So we are going to start today with your OSPF section. So, let's discuss the indexing part, like what are the topics we are going to cover up in your OSPF section. Introduction towards OSPF we are going to see. Then we will see the databases of OSPF here. So in the databases of OSPF, we are going to see that there are three different types of databases. We have neighbor table, routing table, and all these things are. Also, apart from that, we are going to see some types of OSPF router. Then we do have some DR, BDR concept. After discussing the DR, BDR, we are going to see the OSPF header. With that OSPF header, we'll also see the types of OSPF packets. And after discussing these types of OSPF packets, we are going to just go through and have an idea about the finite mechanism of OSPF. So this finite mechanism of OSPF, it is something like, we can say that's the working stages of the OSPF, where we have seen that OSPF is going to work in some 7 stages, as we have already discussed this part. So this is one thing, like apart from that, there will be some other things as well, like some OSPF metric calculation is going to be there. Some concept of ISPF algorithm is also there. And some SPT algorithm is there, shortest path tree. What is the sense of SPT and SPF, and what is the functioning of OSPF? What are the neighborship parameters? So these are few things, guys, which we are going to see as per our OSPF section. And now after this part, like let's quickly get started with introduction to OSPF. But just one more thing, guys, I forgot to add here. Like this was the complete theoretical part which we discussed. Then after this part, the next thing we are going to see is some lab implementations. So we will see implementing OSPF. After this implementation of OSPF, we are going to see some virtual links. We are going to cover up LSA verification. We will see OSPF network types. So in the network types, we are going to see that what are the OSPF networks, which we are going to see as per the NRC training as well. Then after this part, like we will move towards rest of the other verifications. So that is it. Let's quickly get started with the introduction to OSPF now. So we'll be talking about introduction to OSPF. And as we know that OSPF, when it comes to OSPF is an IGP protocol. So we say that OSPF a link state IGP protocol, right? And when it comes to link state, so this link state also says that there will be incremental updates. So when we say these incremental updates, so these updates are betterly, given the considerations that we do prefer the incremental updates, as distance vector was having some periodic updates, and also like, it's not going to share the entire network information again and again, but with a specific amount of time, it's going to make sure that this information should be passed on from this router to another router. If in case any link failure is there, so unnecessarily it's not going to consume or use the resources of your device, unlike by using the unnecessary timers here. So this is like, we can say one thing, that here also it's got faster convergence. So when we say the convergence part with OSPF, so this convergence part, we can say like we have two timers, hello timer and we have dead timer. So this hello timer is of 10 seconds here in OSPF, and we have dead timer is of 40 seconds. But with various technologies, you will see that these timers may be varying upon the types of network as well, which we will see in the upcoming sections. So this is one thing. And also apart from that, like, if you will see the one more thing about OSPF part, that OSPF is categorized into two versions. So when we say OSPF, and when it comes to implementation, so implementation of OSPF is categorized as OSPF version 2, and we have OSPF version 3 as well. Now, what's the sense of this version 3? And what's the sense of this version 2? So when I say version 2, this version 2 simply means that it is considered for IPv4 addresses, whereas this V6, like it is considered for V6 addresses, this IP OSPF version 3 here. And also, apart from this, OSPF introduces the concept of areas, which is a very important thing in OSPF to function. And apart from that, in OSPF, the multicast addresses are used. So it's gonna use some multicast IP. So usually you will see that 224.0.0.5, this is the multicast IP, and somewhere you will also find that some 224.0.0.6. These are the two multicast addresses which your OSPF is going to use, and we will see like what's the sense of 224 and what's the sense of 226, which in the upcoming section. And also it do supports equal cost load balancing up to 4 equal paths. So this is what we have in the equal cost load balancing. And also like, it do supports the authentication and it's a classless routing protocol. So these are some various features. And in case of here, OSPF, LSAs are the building blocks. So the entire OSPF database is dependent on one thing, which is your link state advertisement. And they are going to form some link state database description. So these terminologies we will see in the upcoming part. And how come we define and what is LSTB, what is LSA? Each and everything we are going to cover up. So that is it for the introduction part. Now the next thing we have is the database of OSPF.